I'm John. I do Medicare in volume. I am after Adam Howard's record. I will write 1,000 this year. I have a goal of 1,000, and I came from the car business, so I also have a stretch goal. And I probably won't hit it, but I always put a number out there that I want to reach for, and that's 1,200. That's 100 a month. 100 a month. Basically, I didn't prepare anything like slides like all these guys did. I mean, next time I will, if you guys invite me again to talk. But real quick story about me. I was in the car business for 20 years. Ran a handful of car dealers. Ran their finance departments. So I've been selling a product, whether it be a car, extended warranty, gap insurance, or teaching guys how to sell products to people in a face-to-face, across from them, being able to read body language, being able to tell if, hey, they're into this product. I can already tell it's an app. So when you're doing it by volume, one of the biggest things that we've already said is you gotta have the leads. So how do you get in front of people? By the leads. Right now I'm doing so much volume that my lead cost, and this might surprise you, is with adding the 360, adding what is being paid for me through other carriers, my lead cost might be $3. I've got carriers that once you start doing big volume, I've got carriers that are willing to pay for the party, guys. I've got Humana right now, basically guaranteeing me $10,000 a quarter for leads, or actually however I would want to generate leads. It could be even, I'm going to use it for leads. So, I've got basically right now I am working 3 states. I'm licensed in 4, so I will be going to Nebraska. But right now I am in Wichita, Kansas. So I do the Kansas City area. There's a Reno County area, which is about 45 minutes from Wichita. And then I do Oklahoma City, which is actually my favorite, Tulsa. During OEP, I started going to Springfield, Missouri, and a little town called, it's in Jasper County. Come on, John, think. Joplin, yes. Joplin was kind of a small town that you might have heard of because they had a tornado that ran through there in F5 about 4 years ago. But so how I keep busy is I do have an appointment sitter. I am working anywhere from 100 to 150 leads every single week. I want them in volume. I'm trying to run anywhere from, I want 10 appointments a day minimum, 6 days a week. I'm trying to run 60 appointments a week, and there's a lot of weeks that I do hit 60 appointments. Well, they're booked. Whether I get in, whether they stand me up is another thing, but we book 60 appointments a week. I average somewhere in between 50 and 60 a week, depending on the days that I'm working. My appointment setter is very, very good. He basically will map out the town that I'm in. I door knock. There's some of you guys that, hey, I've got enough appointments on the books this day, I'm not going to have to door knock. Guys, door knock. I get the most excitement, the best feeling when I walk into a deal that I didn't have to pay my appointment setter to set for me, and I knock them and I walk right in and I get the sale. That excites me because I really don't. The only cost that I might have into that lead is $3 or $4 because I'm buying so much in volume and I'm doing so much volume in business. Let's see here. Where was I? Appointment setting, yes. So when we're appointment setting, he's setting my appointments. We always, if we're working, let's say we're working Wichita, and we're working a zip code, let's call it 67205. Which is a big area in Wichita where I get a lot of my appointments. It's low income. If every zip code that I'm in that town, he will have set up 2 to 3 door knocks for me. And since I'm buying so many leads in volume, guys, I get to cherry pick. So he knows what I like. When I'm door knocking, because the only reason why I'm door knocking is because I got blown out, right? So they weren't there. I went to the door. They didn't come to the door. So I want 3 people that I can door knock. And it has to be within the time, because the next hour, guys, I book every hour. So by doing 3, having 3 that you can go to, that you can run to, you should be able to get that in an hour, get in the door, and hopefully write an app. So since I cherry pick, I don't go to apartment complexes when I'm door knocking, and I don't go to trailer parks when I'm door knocking. And I love trailer parks, and I love apartment complexes. It's not that. That's a very, very good prospect. I'm not trying to take anything away from it. I also don't want any houses with a 2-car garage. I want a small house. So I want to hit houses. And the reason why I want to hit houses is because I know I can get to 3 houses in that zip code. If I have to go to an apartment complex and have to try to find the apartment, I'm wasting time. So I want to be able to hit that address, hit the next address. If I make it to the 3rd, hopefully I'll get into the 3rd. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? I mean, so I try to write between 20 and 30 a week. Like I said, I will hit 1,000. My goal is $1 million. I want $1 million in renewals. Right now, that's a little over 3,400 policies on the books. The commissions are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I listened to a podcast, I don't know how true this is, but they're claiming that the commission rate this next year for MAPDs are going to jump quite a bit. What's it been going up? Maybe $20? I've heard it's going to jump 3 to 4 times that. So you could be looking at a commission somewhere in between $340 and $350 per app on a transfer. So once you put that in play, $1 million in renewals is really within reach. Anybody here can do it. Call it $2,500 or 2,500 policy on the books in the next 3 years, right? That's with the commission rates going up. If you write, keep them on the books, 2,500 policies, that's $1 million in renewals in the next 3 years. I'm going to try to do it in 4. I know I'm going to have to write probably anywhere from 3 to 4,000 to keep 2,500 on the books. I've got to get better at playing defense, which Chad I think, are you talking about that or somewhat of that, but
we might
scratch on it. Okay. But so my first AEP, so this was my second AEP. My first AEP, I didn't buy a single lead. I pulled all my clients from final expense, and I wrote 78, and I didn't have $1 into it. So definitely, guys, if you're writing final expense right now, the last thing you want is another agent inside that house. If you're writing final expense and you're not doing Medicare, your policy that you're writing could be in jeopardy. Because the last thing I would want is Ruben or Chad in my house if I wrote a final expense policy. You can get it replaced pretty quick. So if you're doing final expense, do Medicare. Other than that, I was really going to kind of open it up for questions. I get a lot of people asking me questions on day-to-day stuff, on the kind of my lead sources that I use. Right now I'm using 2 lead sources. Of course, 360 and then Need a Lead. Mail drops, I only work mail drop leads. I do not work T65s. There's a reason for that. I don't buy T65 leads. Now, if the guy's T65 or the gal's T65, I'm going to work it. But I don't buy T65 leads because when you're doing volume, you need to be in and out. And a T65 could take you a little bit longer. And I have different goals in mind. So I want the number of policies and just the commission. So see here. Other than that, I just wanted to open it up for questions. If you guys have any questions as far as guys like me that do it in volume, what we're doing, go ahead.
So the operative word here is volume, right? What
Yeah.
do you do for retention?
So right now, retention, my last year was horrible. I lost 35% going into going into OEP. So I've really tried to focus more on that. I am doing reminders on OTC, so we'll drop a text message to them to remind them about their OTC. We started sending cards out. I even have a card that doesn't say anything about insurance. It's just a card that says, register your number on the do not call list. And then on the back of it, it's going to have my picture on it. And that's all it is. It's something as simple as that. Every senior that you've talked to, I'm sure, hates all the telemarketing calls, and that might be something that could help them. Might be stopping another agent from coming in as well.
Do you provide the card during the application process?
What are you talking about?
The do not call card?
No, I send it. It's a mailer card that we mail out to our clients. And then I give them the number too. If I'm sitting with them, and everybody's been in that house where you've sitting in the house for an hour, and that senior's gotten 5 phone calls, and it's different numbers. So give them the do not call list number. I mean, it'll might slow some of it down, but they're still going to get through. But go ahead.
What do you use for your mailers?
Right now we're just doing it. We actually just started it, so we're just getting it all together. I haven't sent out that card. We've designed it. I haven't sent it out. So, but go ahead.
Between like Tulsa and Oklahoma City and Wichita or Kansas City, aren't there different plans, different carriers? Don't you have to learn a lot more stuff, or is it the same products?
You do, yeah. Yeah, you have to. I don't have Anthem in Kansas or Oklahoma, and I have Anthem in Missouri, which that was new to me. I've just found out after I was there for OEP that the HMO there in Missouri gives a $50 food card because I didn't do my homework. That's one thing. If you're doing it by volume, definitely do your homework. That was the one thing that I missed that in that particular area, that if you're just a regular Joe, not a D-SNP, that you can get a $50 food benefit through Anthem. So definitely do your homework. But majority of them in my areas, they're all the same. And it's, yeah. Other than that, what's up, Doug? Yep.
You mentioned you use the 360 lead and
Uh-huh.
needle lead. So with the needle lead, is it a fixed cost lead or a mail drop, 1,000 pieces?
Mail drop, 1,000 pieces. So right now I've got basically Humana, Aetna, and then some UHC funding my Kansas leads. I have Anthem funding some of my Missouri leads, and now I have moved 360 into Oklahoma. So with the 360 and the volume I'm doing there, the cost is very, very cheap. And the only reason why my cost on my leads are $3 is some of them make me co-op. And United Healthcare makes me co-op 50%. I don't know in some of your areas if they do that or not. But So the big thing that I'm seeing, especially in my area, is United Healthcare is all bought up. They bought everything up. So now Humana, Aetna, Anthem are just throwing money at me and other agents that I've heard to overtake United Healthcare. United Healthcare is not giving me as much, and my book through United Healthcare is twice the size of the next one.
Are you saying they bought out the networks?
No, I'm sorry. They own the majority of the seniors in that area have United Healthcare. I'm sorry. Yeah. So so they're not spending a lot in those areas, at least on me. Go ahead.
Do you do any of these or is it all face-to-face?
All
Have you
face-to-face.
tried over the phone?
I have a small disability that I'm dyslexic, and so I can't spell anything. So I have to be in front of that senior to get those medications and doctors' names. Otherwise, that phone call for a normal person might take only 45 minutes to an hour. Me, I'm on there for 3 hours. So.
It's like me and an IKEA product.
Yeah. But yeah, I dread the phone, doing it on the phone. But I sold final expense for a short period of time on the phone when COVID first hit with Dave. And then I just hit the road, went back to work. And if you're face to face with them, that policy is going to stay a lot longer. You have more of a relationship with them, I feel. And if you're after a volume.
I'm just trying to go to a different state.
Oh, yeah. No, when I go to a different state, let's say it's Sunday, I pack my bags that night. My appointment setter, we only set everything 24 hours in advance. So he is calling, he typically on a Sunday, he'll start somewhere around 3, he's done 2 to 3 hours. It never takes very long to set 10, even on Sunday. But yeah, he'll start around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. We feel, at least he does. I feel there's any time during the day, pick up the phone and call and make an appointment. There's not a good or bad time, I feel, but he kind of feels there is a little bit better of a time during 3 and 6. But
When you work so many different states and so many different counties and all the plans are different, do you have an Excel spreadsheet that tells you all the different plans?
yeah. So I've got a cheat sheet for each state and each city and county that I'm in. So if I'm in Missouri, the 3 or 4 counties that I'm working in Missouri, I have their plans in that county or in that folder on my iPad. Same with Kansas, same with Oklahoma, and we'll be doing it for Nebraska. So, yeah. Any other questions, or go ahead?
You said you pack your bags when you leave on Sunday. Like, do you generally stay in a hotel when you?
Yeah. So yeah, if we've got enough leads, I typically want to be home on Fridays. So if we have enough leads in a certain area, I'll go to Oklahoma City for 5 days and then drive home Friday night. My appointment setter sets everything for Saturday there in town. Because I try to work 6 days a week. Usually it's the Mondays that we don't get to. But I always work Saturdays. Guys, if you're not working Saturdays, work Saturday. I mean, I was in the car business, so I don't even know what to do on a Saturday. So, yeah, I mean, work. But yeah, other than that, any other questions or on what I do day to day or?
When are you gonna hit 1,000?
This year I'll hit 1,000. I'm thinking probably somewhere in August.
August?
Yeah.
Okay, you said your goal is 1,000, but really, your real goal is 1,200.
Well, I mean, I haven't hit 1,000 yet. I got to hit 1,000 before I hit 1,200. So my stretch, if my stretch goal, if I'm close to my 1,000 and it's July, yeah, I'm going for 1,200 for
You're
sure.
a bad man, dude. So your goal here is 1,000 in 3 years. Do you have
3 to 4 years. Yeah.
So it's 1,000 every year.
1,000 every year.
Okay, and when are you stopping?
In 4 or 5 years. Yeah. But when you have that big of a book, guys, you can't take your foot off the throttle after that. Because you're going to have to start replacing it. If you want to keep that $1 million rolling in, you're going to have to start replacing it with ACA or more Medicare. You're always going to have to write. But I will be out of the field in 4 years.
Do you have some type of balance so that you don't burn yourself out?
I won't get burned out. No, I used to work in 60, 70 hours a week. I did that for 20 years in the car business.
John, when did you actually place your first Medicare Advantage?
Last AEP, not this AEP, but the one right before that. That was my first one.
You're a little over a year in the business.
Yes. Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I put business first, and I know a lot of guys and gals here don't. Yeah, putting business first is, you know, when you have a family is not good. But my kids are older. My oldest is 18. She's a sophomore in college. My youngest is a freshman in high school. And my wife's a school teacher. So the home time, when I'm home, that 1 day or 2 days that I'm there that week, I don't do anything. I am a lazy bum when I'm at home, but I am a workaholic anywhere else. Yeah, when I'm in the field, it's go, 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 go. Go to the next one. You get stood up, hit a door or two. But any other questions or about volume or?
And how many states do you have?
Right now, I'm working in 3 states right now, but
Yeah, just stay away from Texas too.
yeah. After my leads kind of run through Oklahoma this next time through 360, I'm moving them back up to Omaha. So Omaha and Lincoln and Nebraska. So a couple of pro tips I would tell you. We've all been in that apartment complex that has a door. You have to put a gate code in. When you're going into those, I work almost the same communities every week. If you're going into those houses, guys, and one of those seniors gives you that gate code, have a place that you can put that. Because there's, how many times do you get to that? They tell you, hey, when you get there, call me. And you get there, you can't get in, you can't get anybody to come open that door. I try to avoid that door because I want to go around the back to try to find the cigarette butt that the ashtray that's holding the door up, you know, sneaking in. That's kind of what I try to do. But if you get that gate code, write it down, write the address, and keep that somewhere safe, and keep a log of those. I have a log of apartment complex gate codes, so I don't have to call that senior when I get there. I just, hey, I thought you were supposed to call me when you got here. Oh, someone let me in. So, but because otherwise, most of those stand you up. Go ahead.
So you don't cross-sell anything anymore. If someone says, well, I really need a final expense.
I'm going to pick final expense up. But I don't really, and I hate saying this, but I don't write a lot of hips. Because I'm in LIS and dual houses a lot. So, 50% of them don't even have a checking account. But I mean, when I feel I'm in this situation, and I probably shouldn't prejudge, but I should present more and cross-sell. But I'm also trying to really stay compliant, because the last thing I want to do is build up this big of a book and jeopardize it. You mess up that one time, and I think Luis told me one story of a guy that got a 1,200 book taken away from him at a United Healthcare. So that's the last thing you want to do. So you got to really watch what you're cross-selling, especially if you write. If I write anything in the house, if I write an MAPD, and I'm not selling a HIP, I won't go after anything else. I'll have my appointment setter call them if we want to go after that. But really, right now, to go back and pick up final expenses is just going to take me away from my goal right now for MAPD. So we're strictly focusing on MAPD. I am really, really considering a lot of stuff that Luis just said about ACA. But because how many of those leads, I mean, if you guys are buying, the people that are buying leads right now for Medicare, the LIS leads, how many of them are under 65 that filled that card out? And that's one of the things that I was just sitting here thinking as Lewis was talking on ACA. How many of those people that we talked to that filled out that card because they want $170 a month that are under 65 and they don't have Medicare? Why not ask them, hey, do you have Medicaid? No, I don't have Medicaid. have my appointment set or book me the appointment right there for ACA. So that's kind of, so far that's kind of what I've taken from this, or one of the things I've taken from this course that we just did this weekend. But anything else? 5 minutes, guys.
John, I want to say something about, as far as leads, I know that when I have ride-alongs, I'm sure Ruben gets this, most agents are afraid to buy leads. We were talking about in the mastermind something yesterday that even affects, I think, top producers, which is there's two sides of the coin. You can think about, oh my God, how am I going to, come up with $600 per week, $800 per week on leads? How am I going to pay my appointment setter $500 per week for appointments? Because you're not spending money, you're making money. You've got to get in the mindset of buying the leads. These leads are going to make me money.
Yeah.
I'm going to use these leads to get into appointments. I'm going to see people. I'm going to make money. And you should be making enough money where you're making a lot more money than what was spent. So even though I know you're not spending a lot on leads because you're getting
Now, yeah.
But the bottom line is leads, leads, leads. That's what everybody's talking about. Leads and appointments.
Before I knew all of the co-oping and carriers giving me money, I kind of mapped out $91,000 in lead costs for a year. But luckily, I've got carriers and I've got 360 guys. They give us the best leads in the business. It's the mail drop leads, it's LIS. You can't get anything better than that. And you start doing volume enough to where 360 is going to fund the lead for you, or most of them. That's money in the bank. Go ahead.
I guess maybe this question more for Luis or someone else who knows the ACA, because you're talking about that, but with Medicare or even final expense, we can sometimes just replace current policies with something else or newer plans. But isn't ACA, someone who's already low income, if they have Obamacare, you're not really replacing Obamacare plans, are you? If they already have it for the last 5 years.
Yeah, you're replacing them.
Is there another plan to replace it with?
Yeah, if they're on Aetna and Ambetter's in your area, you write them the Ambetter and get paid. And that might be a better question for Louise. But is that right? Is that how it works? If you just move them into a different plan, that's kind of what I understood. Go ahead.
It's a lot of leads, right? 91,000 leads, probably 180,000 mailers that go out on a yearly basis. How do you maximize your efficiency there? Meaning, how do you make sure you don't double zip code on them?
You mean drop them again?
Yeah, well, not drop them again, but not drop them again in the same area codes. Is there a pattern or the zip codes? I'm sorry.
So when I buy leads, I get on Need a Lead and I just pull the county, and I see there's 8,600 people in that income bracket that I'm looking at. I don't go off of zip codes because I buy the whole county when I'm in there.
And where are you pulling that data from?
Need a Lead.
Okay.
Yeah, Need a Lead has it. I would highly recommend them. They've done really well for me. Because you can put your age range, you can put your income range that you're wanting. I drop underage in that. I go all the way down to 50. Because if you find those younger people on Medicare, and you keep them, that's just a longer renewal.
With Need a Lead, are you getting a guaranteed return? Or
No.
are you doing a mail drop?
Mail drop. Yeah. Go ahead.
Saul has, Louis walked back in.
Oh,
So
yeah.
maybe answer.
No, your question, can you replace them? Yeah, you can. They might have different change of plans, whatnot. But also, because we have brick and mortar, some people, they just like to come see you in person because it's confidential information. So sometimes they'll have a payment they want to make or certain documents they want to turn in, and they want to see that person. So they get these phone calls from other states, sometimes Florida or wherever, and they just want somebody they can stop in and see, touch, feel. They feel more at home get that feeling about it. And then so sometimes you don't have to change the plan. You just, change, you ask them, hey, we can help you out. You want us to be your agent, yes, no. If you can, we'll help you out. And then you switch to the end, and they're your client. You take care of them. But yes, you can.
What are some of the most common objections you get at the door or in the home?
At the door, that's the thing, is these appointments, when you set the appointment, it's basically a higher up door knock. I mean, it's more of a warm door knock for me, I feel. Because you got to make the impression to get in the house. Yeah, you get Miss Betty that'll walk in and they see you coming from the car and they open the door up and they say, come on in. But that's, what, 1 in every 5 maybe? So when you hit the door and they say, oh, I'm really not feeling well. Do we have to do this right now? Hey guys, I'm actually running a little late already. But I could go ahead and just give you this information. It takes me about 10-15 minutes. That way I can just mark you off. Should I go ahead and take my shoes off, or is it okay if I keep them on? Or whatever I say. I mean, it's something like that to throw them off, get them to say yes, or yeah, go ahead and keep your shoes on. Whatever.
And in the home, if they say something like, oh, I already have a plan, I didn't know what this was. This is to see if you do qualify to get the 170 back. We look at everything. When I come in to talk, I look at everything. I want to make sure that you're getting the best deal on everything, on your medications, on your co-pays. You do have a great plan, but we don't know if it's the best plan for you. The plan that you have, I write. I've actually just written the plan within the last week. But let's just make sure, since I'm here, that you're on the right plan and you understand it. And a lot of times that knocks down the barriers and you can start talking about the plans and move them into a better plan. But
John, can a newer agent start with like $300 a week? I'm not afraid to spend the $600 a week, but I think it will be overwhelming right away.
300? 300, no, you can't do 300 because there's not, maybe with 360, but the minimum on most of these mail drop companies is 500. Yeah. So which typically buys you 1,000 drop. Yeah. Yeah. You got to look at it that you're paying for your education. What I told my guys when I was in the car business, and what I told some downlines that I had, but they've all broke my heart, but that get out there and fall on your face. If you're new in this business, get out there and fall on your face. There's no better way to learn it. Same way in the car business. I knew nothing about the car I was selling, but I can guarantee you I can point stuff out. That turns the volume up, that turns the wheels, and you just sit there and you go through the motions. And you don't have to know everything. 2 minutes, guys.
You have 2 more hours.
Oh, 2 more hours? Yeah, you guys don't want me up here. Yeah. Did someone else back here had a question? Oh, I thought so. But as you noticed, who was it, Luis, that said stand up if you're making $100,000 in renewals? I had to sit down. That was one of my goals. I had to sit down. That will never happen again. Ever. Starting next year, I will have $100,000 in renewals. I just missed it. Because I didn't do any defense. Most important thing is do that defense. Reach out to them, send them something, touch them in some way. Send them a text message. We have the tools to do that.
Bring them a box of M&Ms.
Yeah, that's Ruben's things. Yeah, the M&M guy. But anything else, Dave? El Jefe? All right.